The sentence is supposed to be about change.
But change isn't automatic. Education reporter Ann Moore spent a day at the Branchville Correctional Center near Tell City, Indiana.
Ann tells us in tonight's The More You Know, change appears to be more likely through education.
Each person who arrives at Branchville has a choice. He can simply wait out his time, or he can take advantage of the opportunities available. The choice could have lifelong consequences.
For the first time in his life, Charles Turpin is reading.
I like reading, like really being in school.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 36 years old. I ain't really looked for no schooling.
Yeah.
Till like now, so it's amazing.
Call him by name. Turpin is from Evansville. He dropped out of school after the 8th grade and trouble soon followed. Those involved with prisons know the story well. They say the vast majority of inmates never experienced success in school. That's why they say an education on the inside is critical for turning lives around.
Studies show that education has a huge impact on a person's ability, to leave here and have a successful and productive life.
Wagner has taught at Branchville for 11 years. Many of her students never learned to read or write growing up, and like Charles Turpin, are tasting success for the first time in prison.
Mr. Turpin is just hungry for information. You cannot give him enough stuff to do. He's probably the most eager person that I've ever seen as far as wanting to learn.
Aaron took it out. An inmate can get from 6 months to a year trimmed from a sentence by completing educational programs.
They usually start out, they're after the time cut because they want to go home sooner, as we all would. But once they're in it, once they start seeing successes with what they've done, they haven't been successful before. And now when they start seeing successes, then they start getting excited about it.
Turpin says he's never felt this excitement before. He's been incarcerated 3 times in his life. This, he says, is the last time.
You plan on staying out of jail?
Oh, yeah. It's my 3rd bid, so I know what it takes. I know it takes a job, encouragement, respect. How do you talk, get through life, what you say.
William Ains is working on his GED and regretting his past.
Being young, stupid, dropped out of school, and regretting it right now.
He says his education won't stop here. He plans to go to college.
My goals are to get out and try to take care of my family and get a better education on what I need to do out there, do the right things in society, and keep my head up, not come back here.
And that's the key. Branchville has the highest percentage of all Indiana prisons for inmates who take and pass the GED. Branchville's own studies show that only 3% of those inmates who are released end up back in prison.
Still.
1 year ago, Charles Turpin was an inmate at the Branchville Correctional Facility. While serving his time, he learned to read. For most of Turpin's life, it was his inability to do so that truly imprisoned him. The frustration led Turpin to drop out of school after the 8th grade.
I'm at peace, and I'm thankful, and it robbed me for years. But today, I'm just thankful to learn how, to know that reading is important, that it delivers you in so many ways.
Turpin was released last April after 7.5 years behind bars. Today he is on staff at Impact Ministries near downtown Evansville. It is his old neighborhood.
He's now wanting to give and to help people and help kids, particularly not to make the same mistakes that he did. And he sees life in a whole different way now, and I think he kind of regrets a little bit of his past, but now he's glad he's on the right track and trying to help kids avoid making those same mistakes.
Turpin says he easily picks out people who are struggling to read. He helps them all over town, on the bus, and here at Impact Ministries.
It's a thing that I probably talk about for the rest of my life. Knowing I can help somebody else when I couldn't do it.
He's a good guy. He help us what we need, and he take good care of us.
Turpin takes his message to schools. It is illustrated with pictures drawn in prison. He says he meets a lot of kids who are on the same road he once traveled.
Attitude blocks a lot of things. Your heart won't prosper. That's one. Two, you can't become that person you need to be from the inside out. It's always inside out, not outside in.
After all, who better knows the difference between the inside and the outside than a former prisoner? I'm Ann Moore with The More You Know.